Babe, you don't have a self-trust problem. You have a pattern you keep repeating, and it's quietly proving to you over and over again that you don't trust yourself. Because think about it. You know what you should do. You've had the realizations, you've seen the patterns, and then the moment comes and you overthink it. You second guess yourself. You say yes when you meant no, or you react instead of choosing. And later you're sitting there like, why the F do I keep doing that? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's actually happening. Why you don't trust yourself in the first place, where it breaks in real time, and the pattern you need to interrupt if you want to rebuild it for good. Because this isn't about confidence. You see, it's about understanding the system that's been running you. Here's the lie that keeps people stuck. Just believe in yourself. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? But it doesn't work. Because if your body doesn't feel safe, if your brain is running old patterns, if you've been trained to doubt yourself, you're not going to magically believe your way out of that. You see, self-trust is not a mindset. It's a pattern. And right now, your pattern is wired to override you. You didn't wake up one day and decide not to trust yourself. You were trained out of it. If you grew up in an environment where your feelings were dismissed, your instincts were questioned, maybe keeping the peace mattered more than being honest. So you learned something very quickly. My instincts aren't safe to follow. So you adapted. You started second guessing yourself, reading the room instead of reading your gut, and prioritizing other people over your own signals. So now as an adult, it looks like I don't trust myself. But in reality, you learn not to trust yourself. So before we go deeper, I'm Jess. Hashtag Powered by Jess, a former top global beauty publicist who spent 2 decades studying patterns and behavior. Now I break down what's actually driving your behavior so you can stop repeating and finally change it. Now, here's where most people get this wrong. They try to build self-trust when they're calm. That's not where it breaks. You see, self-trust breaks in moments like conflict, pressure, and emotional activation. And I'll give you a real example. I'm in my 20s. I was broke, exhausted, and in a relationship that I didn't yet have the language to call what it was. And I remember one night I had just come home from the gym, no makeup, hair a mess. I just wanted to stay home. And he had made plans knowing I hate being out looking like this. And I told him, I don't want to go. And he snapped. He started yelling at me and telling me everything was always my fault, threatening to leave me, flipping the entire situation on me. He walked out and he left me crying. And I remember exactly what happened next. My brain didn't say that wasn't okay. It said, he's right. This is my fault. I should have just gone. I should have handled it better. I started running through every version of how I could have prevented his craziness. And that right there, that's the pattern. If you're listening to this like, okay, yeah, I do that all the time, then I want you to go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is exactly the kind of work we do here. And I'm going to keep breaking this down in a way that actually clicks for you. Because what I realized in that moment changed everything for me. That reaction wasn't about him. That was the younger version of me getting activated. Because it felt exactly like my childhood. One moment, everything was fine, and boom! The next moment, everything flips. Unpredictable, intense, no warning. And suddenly, you're the problem. So my brain did what it had been trained to do as a child. I needed to take responsibility, fix it, make it safe again, right? because my mother was so unstable. It was always my fault. And this is what you need to understand. In those moments, it's not just you reacting. Part of you, the adult, knows deep down, this isn't right. But another part of you is like, please don't leave me. Please fix this. Please make this feel safe again. That's you as a child. You want your mother, your caregiver, and now your boyfriend to fix it. It's an unmet need that you have from childhood. So here's where self-trust actually gets built. Not by ignoring a child inside of you, not by trying to be stronger, but by changing who you rely on to meet that need. Because in that moment, all I wanted was for him to hug me, to apologize to me, but he couldn't. How could he? He wasn't regulated. He didn't even know how to regulate himself. How is he going to regulate me? So if I kept looking to him for safety, I was going to keep getting hurt. So I did something different. I caught it. And I literally said to myself, this isn't just about right now. And I pictured myself as a little girl and me being the adult. And instead of waiting for him to fix it, me, the adult, gave myself as a child what I needed. So I closed my eyes, I hugged myself, and I said, I've got you. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to abandon you like they did. And then I let my adult self decide what happens next. That's self-trust. Not reacting, not chasing, not collapsing, choosing yourself. This is the part nobody explains properly. You cannot trust yourself when your body feels unsafe. When you feel urgency, that's survival mode. When you overreact, that's protection. When you shut down, that's also protection. So if you're trying to think your way out of those moments, you're already too late. You have to regulate your nervous system first. Then you choose. And once you can understand that, everything begins to change. You see, because self-trust is not built when you feel confident. It's built when you choose yourself under pressure. When you pause instead of react. When you say what you actually mean. When you hold down a boundary, even when it's uncomfortable. That's when your brain starts collecting evidence. It starts saying, we didn't abandon ourselves that time. And if you want to go deeper into this, make sure you sign up for my newsletter at PoweredbyJess.com. That's where we break down the exact patterns you learned in childhood and how they're still playing out in your everyday life. So you can actually see yourself clearly and start changing it in real time. Let me show you what's actually been running in the background. Most people are stuck in a loop. It's like trigger, react, regret. I can't trust myself. And it repeats. That's a loop. But see, when you interrupt that loop, trigger, pause, regulate, choose differently, self-respect. Your brain starts to go, wait, I can trust myself, because the goal isn't I'm trying to trust myself. See, the goal is I am someone who trusts myself. And that identity is built through evidence, through decisions, through showing yourself again and again that you've got you. Self-trust isn't something you feel first. It's something you prove to yourself over time. If this hit for you, comment below. What's one moment where you know you abandoned yourself? And if you're thinking, okay, but how do I actually stop reacting in those moments? Go watch this video next on how to stop getting triggered so easily and actually let it go for good. Because that's the skill. That makes everything you just learned actually work.